Hi, I'm Amora. I work as a marketing specialist at Blue Summit Digital, where I've been killing it for the past 3 years. My life was pretty standard: work, happy hours with colleagues, weekend brunches with friends, until 6 months ago when everything changed. I met Derek at my college friend's housewarming party. He walked in with this confidence that immediately caught my attention. Tall, well-dressed, with a smile that could probably sell ice to penguins. "That drink looks dangerous," he said, nodding at my half-empty margarita. "Only if you're afraid of a little lime juice," I shot back, and just like that, we clicked. The next 6 months were like something out of those cheesy romance movies my best friend Maya always makes fun of. Weekend trips to the coast, surprise picnics, fancy restaurants where he'd already arranged for my favorite dessert. He even remembered small details about stories I told once, bringing them up weeks later. "Girl, he seems perfect on paper, but something feels off," Maya told me over coffee last month. "Nobody's that perfect without a catch." I brushed her off. Maya had always been protective since our college days, and I appreciated it. But this time I thought she was just being paranoid. Then came the coincidences. We'd be at a restaurant, and suddenly Derek's ex-girlfriend Vanessa would show up. We'd go to a bar, and there she was. Tall, blonde, always looking flawless. "Oh, what a surprise seeing you here," Vanessa would say, her eyes lingering on Derek a little too long. The first time could be a coincidence. The fifth time? Not so much. Derek's best friend Jason was another story. Whenever we hung out together, he'd get this weird look on his face when Derek introduced me to people, like he was watching a car accident in slow motion. "So, how long have you two been together now?" Jason asked at a barbecue last weekend, his eyes not quite meeting mine. "6 months next week," I answered. Right, he mumbled, then quickly excused himself. My coworker Elena had briefly dated Jason last year. "Small world, huh?" she said when I mentioned the connection. "Jason's a decent guy, but he lets Derek call all the shots, always has." Something in her tone made me wonder what exactly she meant by that. For our 6-month anniversary, Derek took me to Bellini's, this upscale Italian place downtown. He was wearing the watch I'd given him last month, looking handsome as ever. "To us," he toasted. But I couldn't help noticing his eyes kept darting to his phone screen every time it lit up. "Everything okay?" I asked after the third time. "Just work stuff," he said quickly. Too quickly. That's when I saw a notification flash across his screen. From Vanessa. I couldn't shake the image of Vanessa's name lighting up Derek's phone screen during our anniversary dinner. Over the next few days, I started paying closer attention to everything. The puzzle pieces were slowly fitting together, and I didn't like the picture they were forming. "Have you noticed that Derek only posts photos with you when Vanessa is active online?" Maya pointed out while scrolling through my Instagram feed at our favorite coffee shop. "Look at the timestamps. Every single couple photo he's posted in the last 3 months, Vanessa had just posted or commented on something minutes before." "That could be a coincidence," I said, but my stomach was already knotting up. "And he always seems to take you to places where she might show up. The new sushi place? That's right by her yoga studio. That brewery last weekend? Her brother owns it." "How do you even know all this?" "Because I pay attention when something feels off. You deserve better than being someone's prop, Amora." The next morning, while Derek was showering at my place, his phone buzzed repeatedly on my nightstand. I hesitated for a second before picking it up. 3 new messages from Vanessa. "Saw you guys at Bellini's. You looked bored. Is she still clueless? How much longer are you planning to keep this up?" My hands were shaking as I quickly put the phone down when I heard the shower turn off. At work the following day, I cornered Elena by the coffee machine. "Did Jason ever mention anything weird about Derek and me when you were dating?" Elena shifted uncomfortably. "I didn't want to get involved, but yeah, Jason got drunk one night and mentioned something about Derek's plan working. When I asked what plan, he clammed up fast, said it was just guy stuff." "What exactly did he say?" "Something like, Derek's plan to make Vanessa jealous is finally working. I thought he was just being a drunk idiot, but now I'm not so sure." Later that week, I stopped by Derek's apartment unannounced with takeout. I heard him on the phone through the cracked balcony door. Yeah, she's finally noticing, dude. You should have seen Vanessa's face when we walked in together at Mike's party. This is working better than I thought. I froze, the food bags getting heavy in my hands. Nah, Amora has no clue. She's sweet, but totally wrapped up in this. Makes it easier, you know? I quietly left the food at his door and walked away, tears stinging my eyes. The final confirmation came that night when I checked Derek's Facebook messages through his still logged-in account on my laptop. There it was in black and white, a conversation with Jason from the day before we met. Found the perfect girl to make Vanessa realize what she's missing. Marketing specialist, pretty enough to make Vanessa jealous but not threatening. Game on. And Jason's reply, "You're crazy, man, hope it works, but don't mess up this girl too bad." Too late for that warning. The damage was already done. I showed up at Derek's apartment the next evening with screenshots of everything I'd found. My hands were shaking, but my voice wasn't going to. "We need to talk about Vanessa." His face twitched slightly before settling into that perfect smile. "What about her?" I tossed my phone on his coffee table, the screenshots clearly visible. "Want to explain why you're using me to make your ex jealous? Or why you've been planning this since before we met?" "Those are just jokes between me and Jason. You're taking them completely out of context." "Really? Then explain why we only go to places where Vanessa shows up, or why you only post about me when she's online." "That's ridiculous. You're being paranoid." Derek tried to take my hand, but I pulled away. "Come on, Amora, you know how I feel about you." "Yeah, like a prop, a tool to get what you actually want." "You're twisting everything. This is crazy talk." I grabbed my phone and headed for the door. "Gaslighting won't work on me. We're done." The next morning, Maya showed up at my apartment with coffee and determination. "I've been thinking about this all night. He shouldn't get away with treating you like this." "What am I supposed to do? I already confronted him and he denied everything." "We expose him, not just to Vanessa, but to everyone." Maya pulled out a notebook. "I've got some ideas." While we were brainstorming, my phone rang. It was Jason. "Hey, Amora, I heard what happened. Can we meet?" 30 minutes later, we were sitting at a corner table in a quiet cafe. "I should have said something sooner." Jason looked genuinely ashamed. "Derek's been obsessed with Vanessa since she dumped him last year. When he saw you at that party, he immediately thought you'd be perfect for his plan." "Perfect how?" "You're successful, attractive, but in a different way from Vanessa. Plus, your connections in marketing." "My connections? What does that have to do with anything?" Jason looked surprised. "You didn't know? Derek's been trying to launch that sports app. He's been using your industry contacts. That meeting you set up with the venture capital guys last month? He's been planning that angle from the beginning." The betrayal cut even deeper. I'd introduced Derek to important people in my professional network, people whose trust I'd spent years earning. Back at work, I pulled Elena aside. "I need your help gathering evidence on Derek." "Already on it." She showed me her phone. "I've been collecting screenshots from everyone who's witnessed his game. 3 people from the office saw him with Vanessa last week when you were in Chicago for that conference." "Perfect. Now I need to create something he can't resist." The Summit Digital Expo was happening next week, the biggest industry event of the year. Everyone who mattered in digital marketing would be there, including several investors Derek had been trying to impress. "What if we created a fake business opportunity?" I suggested to Maya and Elena as we finalized our plan. Something too good for Derek to pass up, but that would expose exactly what he's been doing? "Like a honeypot trap, but for manipulative jerks." Elena nodded approvingly. We created a fake startup profile for a major investor looking for sports app partnerships. The pitch meeting would be during the expo's main reception, where Vanessa would also be attending with her agency. The night of the expo arrived. I spotted Derek across the crowded venue, working the room in his designer suit. He hadn't seen me yet. "Everything set?" Maya asked, adjusting her event staff badge. I nodded. "Phase 1 starts now." I watched as Derek walked directly into our trap. Elena had sent him the exclusive investor meeting details, and right on schedule, he approached the reserved VIP section where we'd set everything up. "Derek Williams?" Your meeting with Apex Ventures is about to start, Maya said, playing her part perfectly in her fake staff uniform. That's me. His chest puffed up as he followed her into the glass-walled conference room where several real investors were mingling, ones I'd worked with before who were happy to help after hearing what happened. I stepped out from behind a column as Maya brought Derek in. The look on his face was priceless. Amora, what are you doing here? Showing everyone who you really are. I turned to the small crowd. Meet the real Derek Williams, everyone. The guy who dated me for 6 months just to make his ex jealous and steal my professional contacts. The projector behind me lit up with screenshots of his messages with Jason, his conversations with Vanessa, and emails where he'd taken credit for my work with clients. This is ridiculous. She's just a crazy ex, Derek sputtered, looking around the room. Then explain these? Jason stepped forward, phone in hand. Your own words, man. I can't cover for you anymore. You set me up? For what? Because things didn't work out between us? Derek's face was getting redder by the second. No, because you used me, my career, and my reputation as props in your pathetic scheme. The crowd had grown larger, including Vanessa, who pushed to the front. Is this true? You used her to make me jealous? Vanessa asked, disgusted. Come on, Vanessa. You know how I feel about you. This was just what? Manipulation? Using someone else's feelings as a tool? You're even worse than I thought when I broke up with you. Vanessa turned to me. I'm sorry, I had no idea. Ripley from Cooper Media, Derek's biggest client for his fledgling app, stepped forward. We value integrity, Derek. Consider our contract void. The fallout was swift. Within a week, Derek's social media went quiet as friends unfollowed him and business contacts ghosted him. The screenshots had made their rounds through our professional circle. 3 months later, Jason met me for coffee. He's still trying to rebuild, but nobody trusts him now. He had to move back to his parents' place in Ohio. Can't say I'm sorry to hear that. You shouldn't be. Listen, a bunch of us are starting a new digital marketing collective. Your name came up as someone we'd love to have on board. No Derek types allowed. A year after the expo, I was heading my own team at a major agency, with Maya and Elena working alongside me. Our reputation for authentic, no BS marketing was bringing in clients left and right. I ran into Vanessa at a charity event. Heard Derek's app finally launched, she mentioned. Tanked within a month. No investors, terrible reviews. That's what happens when you build anything on lies, I said, raising my glass. It eventually collapses. My phone buzzed with another client request. Life had never been better. And somewhere in Ohio, Derek was learning that karma works faster than revenge ever could. Was Amora's public revenge justified, or did she cross an ethical line by destroying Derek's career and reputation? Some might say he deserved everything he got for using her as a pawn, while others might argue that private confrontation would have been enough. What would you have done in her position? If you enjoyed this revenge story, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about toxic relationships and sweet justice. Share your thoughts in the comments below.